explanation and commentary, review and commentary. I don't know. Anyways, it's part 2, so if you missed part 1 and you want to see it, find it, but you don't have to. Before we get into it, you know the drill, you know the deal. We gotta do some channel mates, channel IG, channels, or Tamagotchi. So, if you're new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back. Oh, geez. If you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe. If you're old here, go double check, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like if you like, leave a comment. It could be anything related to the video. It could just be a hello, a few emojis, whatever, as long as it's cool and respectful. Hit the notification bell. As always, I've linked my tip jars down yonder in the description box. No pressure whatsoever, but every $1 or $2 helps that as well as me continue to make content. Also, you are invited to my Patreon. I know not everybody can come, but you can't say you weren't invited. The link to my Patreon is down below, and I post a lot over there. If you want extra content but you don't want to leave this platform, you can join YouTube memberships by clicking join below or going to my channel page, clicking the join button. That is content that is exclusive to YouTube members. Okay, so episode 3 opens up. Bob's on a call to his girlfriend saying, "Oh, I'm about to deposit $200 million. I'm feeling pretty good right now." And she's like, "Oh my god." And it goes back to Misa. And somebody's saying that, like, basically he created Misa into his mom, like his mom's likeness. So he had her dressing like his mom and kind of he just wanted her to be his mom, which is super weird. Then they had the baby, and he really didn't even pay much for this baby to support his kid, his child, while he's rolling in dough. He had already moved on to Kim Porter. 1997 Bad Boys is skyrocketing, even more money and power. And then he enters the fashion world with his Sean John label. And then he starts to date J-Lo. Now, they glossed over all the Kim Porter stuff. I did a video about that a long time ago, but they could have done a whole episode on that. Anyway, at some point he starts dating J-Lo. Shine was living with all of them. Which, you know, it seems odd to be living with your dudes, but now we know it wasn't odd for him. Then the shooting happened that involved J-Lo at a club. A woman was shot in the face. She saw Diddy shoot her. Somehow. Doesn't matter. Oh, there goes the guy that shot me. That's not good. There's something about a police overhearing a bribe. That's also not good enough to get Diddy locked up. Then New Year's Eve 1999 was 4 days after this shooting, and he's on MTV in Times Square saying that I'm innocent. 8 months earlier, Nas had the Hate Me Now vid with Puffy on the cross. Yeah, this is Puffy, and the video attached to a cross, like he's being hauled away on Easter Sunday or something in the video. A preacher called and was like, "Please don't mock Jesus that way." But the video was already contracted and filmed or whatever. Anyway, there were some creative differences that led to Puff assaulting someone. He broke an arm and a jaw. Again, I think he walks in with some friends in a bat. That guy's name was Steve Stouts. He didn't get locked up for that as far as I know. Johnny Cochran ends up being his lawyer on that shooting case, the one that involved Shine and J-Lo. Meanwhile, Shine's lawyers were blatantly and willfully throwing him down the river. Like, as the court case is going on, Shine's like, "Why are they basically doing nothing? They want me locked up." So there was some behind the scenes stuff there. Shine got 10 years for what Diddy did. Okay, he starts losing artists. He loses Mace, 112, Faith Evans, The Locks. Diddy knows he needs to pivot. Enter the reality show Making the Band. He puts together some bands. He puts together bands on the show. You know, come try. It's like America's Got Talent. Come try out for my this is a bad contract. This, if you want to do it, move ahead, but there's no money in this. They all signed anyways. Then there was that infamous cheesecake walk where he made the bands walk all the way across town in the cold to get him a cheesecake. He ran all these people to the ground. A member says, I know Aubrey O'Day got it the worst. She was constantly separated. And then it crossed into pressure. She shows some text. Aubrey O'Day's on there. She's showing text. It says, I want to turn you out. And all kinds of other stuff. Like, oh, I'm going to finish, handling my business. Shaking hands with the mailman. Like, he's texting this stuff to her. He brings Cassie in when she's 18. She was dating Ryan Leslie at the time. He gets Cassie to start showing up alone. Gets Ryan out of the picture. All of a sudden, she's got a 2-album deal. Then he gets his Ciroc deal. Kim was still around as Puff's wife when he started messing with Cassie. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about that too, because he would just flaunt Cassie right in front of her, and Kim would leave. Like, she was still just gonna, I guess, like, she was probably scared too, but she was his wife and his baby mama and stuff. And he would bring Cassie around, and according to some other stuff that I had read, he would say stuff about Cassie being hotter than her, and Cassie's skin color was better, and all kinds of abusive language. When he would have important meetings, listen to this dork. He would have these important meetings. He would schedule hair and makeup for Cassie because this, he had just had a big fight with Kim, and then his wrists had bad markings on them, or if this was like a stunt to try to get Kim to stay. Okay, then came 14-day, no sleep binges, 14 days. You would find all the new designer drugs, because, then first it was C that hit the C, but the other things came later. November 16th, 2023, Cassie charges Puff with the R word and other charges. Then Joy Dickerson again speaks up, but this time officially, and then many lawsuits follow. Then the raids happened. Now, episode 4 opens with Capricorn Clark. His assistant, 2004, he found out Cap knew Suge. I remember they got beef, right? So he says to Cap that if her knowing Suge, because Cap was friends with Suge's wife or girlfriend, he's like, if anything happens, if anything seems weird, basically, I'm gonna kill you. She didn't say anything, but she said she was used to addicts and chaos because of her childhood, so, we seek the environments that feel like the environments we've always known. So she's like, okay, whatever. She became a manager of sorts and did that until 2012. 2022, there was a shooting at the studio. Puff and his son and one guy went into the bathroom, and that's where the shooting happened. But Puff made everyone say it didn't happen at the studio. Enter Lil Rod. Okay, Lil Rod starts working with Puff. They start working with Bieber. Lil Rod was flown to Miami to Puff's house. Puff records everything 24/7, so there's a lot of footage from that. Puff was attempting a song to Cassie, and Lil Rod says it took 7 months to record 8 bars, because remember, Puff can't rap, Puff can't sing, Puff is a no-talent a-hole, basically. It took about 7 months to record those 8 bars, LOL. Shows recordings, Puff looks lit. Oh yeah, they're showing recordings, because remember, Puff's recording all of that, and some of that footage was somehow got into this documentary. You look at Puff, and he looks like he's tweaking out. Looking back, Lil Rod says that Puff was grooming him. You can see that now. We gotta figure out, he would send him a text, and it says, we gotta figure out how to touch on a deeper level. And then he starts showing Lil Rod man-on-man vids. Lil Rod just laughs like it's all jokes. They would make Lil Rod wear a bad boy hat to the club and bring girls home, women home. Freakoffs included Puff and his kids and random girls. Cap said he was doing a ton of K, pink, Diet Coke, etc. at all these parties. Since the cameras were always on, it was all recorded. Lil Rod kept waking up sore after these parties. Finally realized he'd been getting drugged and taken advantage of. He can't bring himself to speak on a lot of what happened. Fair. But he really needed to finish the album. Remember, he's got a family at home, and this was his job, and so he's in a real bad situation. He needs his check. He fought his way through, but afterwards, after all this is done, no payment came. None. Years passed. They eventually offered him $29,000. Lil Rod sees accusations come on CNN, and he's like, okay, yep, guess what, me too. And I also didn't get paid. He speaks up about the essay that occurred. He files his own charges. A lawyer reached out to Aubrey O'Day about a client that witnessed Diddy and another man assaulting Aubrey. Aubrey had appeared very inebriated. The woman had been told to shut up and mind her own business at the time. 9/16/24, Diddy is arrested shelters after that because he was blacklisted, couldn't get work anywhere. Puff is currently serving 50 months, and there are 77 civil cases still pending.